Hey, my name is Scotty, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to sketch very basic figures that will fit really well into your urban sketches. In proportions, I always look at the head first, and then after the head I simplify the whole body into two simple shapes. So we just say approximately 3 heads for the torso and approximately 3 heads for the legs. Well, the secret here is to look at the silhouette. So we're going to outline the whole silhouette in one shape because it's so small. Okay, so we're going to be sketching this large group of people, this crowd, but reducing some of those gaps so I can fit it on the page. Okay, I've zoomed in a little bit here, and I always start a person with the head. So start up here with that red line, and we're just doing a very impressionistic outline, and we're going to silhouette the whole person. So we'll start up here and draw that red line. Then to get the whole height of the person, just to get the proportions, I like to go down about 3 heads. It's approximately where the crotch is, and then another 3 approximately down there. And that's just roughly dividing this up so we can get some of the proportions for the legs and the torso. Let's just continue that silhouette around. So you've got the hood, comes out for the elbows about here. I'm just comparing it to where that dot is, and then in, and then for the hips. And on this side, now the legs, you've got a leg here and here, and let's go down to that point. I like to taper down to where the feet are and exaggerate that taper there like that. Okay, like that. Now we can break it up with some of the details. An ear, and then there. And that's all you might do. That's the top where the hood is, and then down where the hood goes there, and then across. There's actually a flag here. So we have our first person. Much easier to do the whole silhouette and add the details later. Okay, now the second person. So outline that head shape. The feet are a bit higher, so I'm going to put the total height a bit higher than these feet, and then in between just put a dot, and that helps me divide up the shape and compare it to the first person. And let's go up around the shoulders, and we're tapering down here to where the feet are. So we can add in some of the detail there like that. He's got this jumper coming, or sweater as you call it, the arm, just like this. So a little line here for the bottom of the nose, and then lips. Okay, next person, back to the same height as the first figure at the top, and we've got some ears, big broad shoulders, this bloke. Come in there, and down this way, and thinner at the bottom and come up. Now we can break up those shapes, so the hair, top of the shirt. Now we're on to the fourth person, and once again we'll outline the head. We've got our 2 dots, down, continue the legs down to the same height as that dot, but remember thinner at the bottom, thicker up there, and then there'll be another person. Now we have the silhouette. We can add in that arm where the pants are, details like the straps on his bag. He's got sunglasses there. Now the face. So once again we want to do very simple lines. Just do the eye. I'm doing that about 1/3 down from the hairline to the chin, and there's a little eye there. This guy crossing his arms, so a bit comes down to where they are, and halfway there. And the elbows are always halfway between the shoulders and the crotch, so a little bit higher because they're at an angle. That way, and then back the other way. In, and then back. See the curve? Belt. There's a pocket on the back. So we've already done 5 figures. That's very quickly compared to how long it would take me if I did large figures. So outline the hat. Even a bit taller, standing a bit closer to us. And then halfway between, that's approximately where the crotch is there. Shoulders, and wider at the hips. So coming down to the legs. Now, once again, breaking that up. Shirt there. And now we can do this tricky person behind. So I'm going to draw still just the top of the head here in comparison to the first one. I think I'm going to draw that arm as well, because it's a very odd thing, that odd position. And now we can outline the torso down to there. See how they come like this. So bring this figure in a little bit closer. Head like this, a bit of the ear, and then his legs come down to there. And this time I'm going to include the arm because it's quite close to the leg. And that's just a rough shape. I'm trying to ignore the bag and the inside of the arms, just get that shape. Go straight down, a little bit of an inward curve, and a triangle on the bottom, and then up, and then the hair, the bag comes down somewhere about there. Now the next person, outline that head, and then let's bring him down a little bit lower. There. We do the shoulders, here and here, and going to the waist. We're sort of just getting the shoulders and then making our way to the waist and where the crotch is there. And it's usually a bit wider. So one foot and then the other one. And the wrist is about equal with the crotch. And we can divide that shape up. Collar. Now the lady walking just in front of this man, up to the shoulder. And her hair's a little bit bigger because her hair's more buffy. And there. So going out to where the knee is, it's about halfway down, and then towards where the feet would be. Draw a little bit of an ear, arm, and that bag. So let's draw that hair, and we're coming out to the hips. And this is a very classic kind of silhouette that you'd find in many people's urban sketches, where there's a building that shape of the person. And there's also a person behind her there, so we can add that person in. Now it's a bit rough here, we can't see what's going on. So a walking stick. So the most challenging set of people here, we're going to try and draw this man with the two boys, his two sons there either side as he's walking. So we'll start with his head, go down about 3 heads and a 3 heads, but just do the sleeves. Now we're not doing the arms, and down to the waist, a little bit wide at the waist, so always exaggerate that. And then the shoe. Then the arms. Now the sons. Same height. Down, here's a pair of shorts, and then the legs. This leg goes in, just above the head to give that balance. Super impressionistic here, very rough. Dad, the youngest brother. Here we go. Sleeve. Now I'm looking where it comes down to that dot, about there. So just get the idea that it comes down and then there's a shoe there. So the arm should taper to the wrist, but I have missed that a little bit. So we've sketched 15 people really quickly and captured those shapes and then broke down each one. I'm going to add some watercolor now. I like to do the skin first. So use a very watered down burnt sienna. So now let's just add a little bit on the skin of each person. So go right across your sketch. Okay, great, we've done all of the skin tone. Now we don't want to touch any of that, so we won't do the hair. We'll start down here with the legs. There's a lot of different types of blues and greys for their jeans. So I've mixed in some Payne's Grey here. Straps. And the pants here. Black pants. But definitely leave a bit of white. See, I'm trying not to touch the skin of the arms. So leave those white gaps. And her pants, they're black. And a little bit of the strap of the bag that he must have at the front. Now we'll do the hair colour. So I have yellow ochre for the blonde hair. Still a bit blobby, too much water. Burnt umber into that, so you have that brown hair. This one. And I'll make one of the boys brown. Darker brown, so now we add Payne's Grey to that. Adding a little bit more Payne's Grey there. Yeah. That lightest jean. So this is cerulean blue, light blue. Take off some of that water, still a bit too much. And this one. Then we can start adding a bit of ultramarine. Some ultramarine will be this one, blue. Ultramarine, let's add some Payne's Grey. So now we're getting more of a navy colour, and that will be most of my other pants. Burnt sienna, which is that skin colour, but now I'm leaving it being quite saturated, just so we see an orangey colour. So I'm going to make this sweater here that's coming down orange. Then there is a red, so you can use any type of red, but I'm going to choose alizarin crimson, still leaving white. And this lady here, the white one, maybe we can make her pink. So I've got rose, permanent rose. Just trying to balance the other one. So I've got Viridian green, and this gentleman here. This jumper here is that brown. So we actually had brown over here with burnt umber and a Payne's Grey. different shade than the hair. Light wash there. And so I've got sap green, very subtle for these, I don't want them to stand out too much. So for shadows I use Purple Lake, which is ultramarine mixed with permanent rose. And now the sun I'm going to make coming from the top right. So under each figure we need a little bit of a shadow, just to show that they're on the ground like that. See that sort of going off to the left. And that helps them sit on the page, not floating. Tap your brush here, make sure you dry your brush a bit more, and then you get control of your sputters. And that's the texture on the ground. Then on the left hand side of each figure we're just going to add a very subtle little bit of shadow. We still want to see the shadow, the colours, sorry. Now to finish it off we can add some dark spots and highlights. Just looking at my prominent colours and just getting a saturated bit of paint on my brush and just putting a dot just in that colour there. Some of the dark, this is ultramarine, bring a little bit of life in there, a little dot here in the red. And Payne's Cray 2 we can add some sputters there. And the final step, especially if your paint covers most of the shape, you can add highlights with your white pen. So I just like to add a few. They could be on the tops of the head, just where the light would reflect off the top, so it's coming down this way and hitting off some of these edges. Tops of the head, hat, shoulders, they're good ones. Head and shoulders. So that's how I sketch very basic figures using ink and watercolor, very small scale, great for your urban sketches. But if you'd like to see the full tutorial without any of the cuts, and you get the reference and the template as well, please go and check out my Patreon page. There's also a community there where you can post your sketches and chat and ask me any questions. But otherwise, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one.